Up until 1978, African Americans were not authorized to receive the priesthood or enter into Mormon temples. Unfortunately, it took years for the church to come to the realization that this policy was culturally based and not a practice that was in keeping with the Jesus of the New Testament. This policy developed over time and was not in place during the time of Joseph Smith, but came about later under the administration of Brigham Young. From the very beginning, African Americans joined the church, although their numbers were few. In March 1836, a black man by the name of Elijah Abel was ordained an elder by Joseph Smith and received his patriarchal blessing. In December of 1836, Abel was ordained to 70 and was sent on a mission to Ohio. In 1843, he served another mission for the church, and in Nauvoo, he participated in baptisms for the dead. Abel's acceptance by the Mormon community reflected Joseph Smith's attitudes. While living in Nauvoo, when he ran for the presidency of the United States in 1844, he enunciated his most strident anti-slavery views when he proposed a system for emancipation. Like Jesus, Joseph Smith advocated for a universal human family in which God hath made of one blood all the nations of men for to dwell on all the face of the earth. Sometime after the saints arrived in the Salt Lake Valley, a policy developed under the leadership of Brigham Young to exclude African Americans from holding priesthood and marrying in temples. Commenting on this period in church history, Elder Jeffrey R. Holland, a member of the governing Quorum of 12, have said that the folklore used to justify the position that American Africans should not be given the priesthood must never be perpetuated. In taking this position, Elder Holland acknowledged that his earlier colleagues were doing the best they could without further light and knowledge from heaven. In this regard, Elder Dallin H. Oaks, also a member of the Quorum of 12 Apostles, has pointed out that some leaders and members ill-advisedly offered various justifications for this policy. By 2015, the LDS Church on its website officially renounced the philosophical foundation of its former priesthood restriction and contextualized the restriction within the cultural norms of the 19th century. Eventually, Spencer W. Kimball took up the policy. He asked for opinions and solicited memoranda on the subject. Finally, on June 9, 1978, the policy changed. Declaration 2 is simply a statement reporting that the First Presidency and the Quorum of the 12 received a revelation on the subject. The revelation was welcomed almost universally among church members. In 2014, the church put an official statement on its website recounting its history on this subject. The church frankly admitted the highly contentious racial culture in which the church had grown up, and how Brigham Young instituted a policy restricting men of black African descent from priesthood ordination. This episode in church history is a reminder of how important it is for all of us to measure all that we do against the inclusive teachings of the Lord Jesus Christ.